Have you guys seen the jug of vodka from Alberta yet?
No.
It's like a 4 gallon milk jug, plastic milk jug, and it's $50. Google it. It's called the Juggo vodka or something, and it got banned from So they 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 fucking Alberta accepted it, full stock and barrel, and then there was like a huge public outcry that they were selling 4 gallon jugs of vodka for $50, and so they took it off the market. Jug of vodka or something. I
Oh
guarantee
yeah,
you,
4 liter jugs.
fucking huge plastic jugs of the world's cheapest vodka or something.
That's wild.
Love it. Love
We
it.
need we should make that our product.
Yeah.
The not our finest hour jug of vodka. We got to find out who made that, and because it got banned and it
You
got
know
banned.
what? You know what? Here's the idea. The landscape lunchbox, it's a fucking meal service that you take with you every day to work as a hardscaper. All the things that a hardscaper needs to eat at lunch.
Mm.
I come home and I have my meal service meals all done for me, but I don't have anything at lunchtime.
What
At
would be in
lunchtime, I
those
have to
meals?
fend for myself.
I
Well,
like it.
that's up to us,
Yeah, what's
right?
going to be in those meals? Let's brainstorm this now.
Well,
Mm.
I'm doing the keto diet, so
Okay.
hardscape. Well, it's hardscape keto, so
Gotcha.
yeah.
I say there's a little juice cleanse in there.
I can tell you,
Pepperette.
Tim Hortons fucks up omelet bites a lot less than they fuck up bagels. That I can tell you 100%.
Are they good?
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Oh yeah.
It's just eggs and bacon and cheese coming out of like a cupcake pan.
Hmm.
They're pretty reasonable.
Quiche,
You get two of them
quiche.
for get two for $3.99. It's actually cheaper than the bagel with bacon and cheddar. I might get some bagels just to review whether they're cut or not, but not eat them.
Ooh.
And then I think about the starving kids in Africa, and then I'm wasting these bagels. They wouldn't get the bagels anyways.
You could
Not
do one
before
of
they get
those
hard.
you could do one of those videos where have you seen it where they give things to homeless people and it's like very touching and those go viral? You just give the homeless person your bagel after you check if it's been cut.
So I'm not saying there's no homeless people in North Whitby,
Oh yeah.
but I don't encounter them on a regular basis heading to the yard.
I guess I live in Toronto. It's different.
Oh, yeah, you could give away lots of bagels.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
could do a
Or
series where you offer them a bagel or a jug of vodka.
we could
And
do a
shit
series where we give out not our finest hour jugs of vodka and follow them around. See what happens.
on your job site?
Look, we caused a big street fight because everyone drank from the jug of vodka.
Oh, great.
So this was my on Monday, which was the first day of the dieting, which actually isn't really that hard. I don't, other than eating bagels, and I really like bread. I don't. I'd much prefer to eat pepperoni sticks all day nonstop, anyways.
What is a keto?
You
What-
can't eat carbs. You have to like keep yourself in a state of ketosis.
Mm.
Apparently, you have to pee on a strip to find out that. I'm not doing that.
That
Full
would be
stop.
good content.
I don't.
Yeah, that would
Maybe
be.
it would be good content. Watch me piss on this
It,
strip.
is it is it like the MTO whenever they're dipping the diesel
Yeah.
to check if you're colored or not? Same thing.
Hold on, let me dip this over here.
If it comes out red, you're pure keto.
You're supposed to eat vegetables, but not fruits. You're supposed to be lowering your sugar intake and lowering your carb intake. And there's probably a bunch of people who know about this that like know a lot about it, whereas I'm doing it and don't really know about it. So, but that being said, after this is day 3, I feel like a lot of the brain fog I've been living in for the last 2 years has kind of started to lift. I feel like my brain's a bit sharper. But this is like a pure contractor day. So on Monday, Darian's truck blew the brake pot. Well, first off, Christie's truck won't go over 70 kilometers an hour. Then Darian's truck blew the brake pot. Then Cody's truck blew the hook again and it stopped picking up bins. Then Ricky got kicked off his job because of something that had nothing to do with us, which now so much shit's happened to me. I don't even fucking remember what happened. But he got kicked off the job for a day because we had put out the entire not me. I kind of taking credit for shit I never did, but they had put out the entire webbing for the porcelain and screwed it all together. And then at that moment, some architect came and said, "Hey, you're supposed to put these rubber pads under all the pedestals so they don't wear through the tar and cause leaks in the roof."
Great.
But never was in our contract, never was mentioned, no instructions on civil or landscape drawings for this. Buddy literally just had sent one email one time about it. So they shut the job down. So that happened. Then the trucks were supposed to go out Tuesday to a pool some kind of excavating job. That got canceled. Then we drove to Brad's shop to get the other little bin truck because it has an exhaust leak, but it definitely picks up bins and puts them down, which is an essential part of a bin truck. And when we got there, we found the exhaust leak, but it's because the warm side of the turbo or the hot side of the turbo has cracked and is falling apart. That's $2,500.
Yikes.
Yeah, this was all in one day, like almost back to back. Oh, the soil lift we did on the weekend, where we're not responsible for materials, we're only responsible for labor. We were 16 bags short for filling the planter.
Oh,
So both you guys have seen that planter, right?
yeah.
It's huge.
In person.
We put 40 yards in it on the weekend. That's 2 triaxle loads to keep this in perspective. And we're still another 16 yards short to fill it.
Why are you 30% short?
I don't know. I didn't do the takeoff. All I did was price the labor. Like they came to me and said, "We're supplying all the labor, we're supplying all the crane. No, we're supplying all the materials, all the crane. All your pricing is the labor to install this material list." So I went over the material list, I made up a number, I submitted it. Right?
Yeah.
So now that happened. And so Jack and I told them what it would cost for us to, first of all, transport the 16 bags down. And they don't want to do another crane lift because obviously it's chaos. You guys have been there.
Yeah.
So they want to bring it up in the elevator in small bags, 16 yards.
Nice.
So we gave them a price for that. They freaked out, said it was our responsibility to install the soil for free. We said we looked at the contract, Jack did, and Jack told them, well, it is our job to install the soil. We didn't put a quantity limit on our labor for this project. So that's true. They have us there. They're right. We're wrong. But in the contract, it says that they are responsible for moving the soil up to the balcony. And that in lies the problem. Because they either need to get another crane there and we'll work with the crane to install the soil, or they need to give us the money for the crane to transport it up. But they're on the hook to get it up to the balcony. Or they could do it themselves and give us the bags and we'll dump them in. I don't care. But the motion of the bags going up 3 floors, whether it be a crane or a helicopter or a drone or a fucking elevator, I don't care. That upwards motion is not my fucking responsibility.
The software missed that.
Someone's did. They're like, "Why didn't you do a takeoff?" I'm like, "Why the fuck would I do a takeoff? You're supplying the materials. I do enough takeoffs for bullshit. I don't need to do some extra takeoffs for fun when someone tells me they're supplying all the materials."
Yeah.
I don't know what you think I do with my day, but I am vastly creating useless content with things that don't need doing things with things that they're not suited for. So, anyways, that all happened in one day.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. And it didn't even seem that bad anymore. I think I've got like PTSD of bad shit happening in the business to the point where I was like, wow, that was actually a pretty good day. That wasn't too bad.
You should be the one wearing the GoPro
Yeah.
with all these problems all day. You know?
Well, I've told you that. Just put it on your truck too when you're doing deliveries.
That's the So then my truck has the same. So what it is the there's a sleeve that the hook slides in, and it slides all the way back, and there's a pin that it pushes on, and it physically moves that pin backwards, and then that pin is attached by springs to two safety hooks that physically come up. But the hooks in the two trucks are worn, and they won't push the pin back all the way. So Brad did one of them, and I did the other one on my own, and I'm actually proud of it because I never fix anything. Brad put a piece of rubber hose on it, and the 1/4 inch of rubber hose is enough for the truck to run fine.
Wow.
That's how fucked up. That's how picky those fucking trucks are. A 1/4 inch hose fixed the problem. Well, for now, anyways, that all happened in one day, and I was like, man, that's a lot of nasty shit to happen to someone in one day. A normal person would probably fold it in when the first truck would only go 70 kilometers an hour, but not me. I'm an idiot. I'm an entrepreneur. So I'm like, you know what? We'll battle through that. No problem. Then the next truck, the brake pod explodes on the 412. So Darian limps it back to the yard, pissing 60 pounds of air the whole time, fucking barely keeping the brakes from locking on, gets it back to the yard. And a normal person would say, after 2 days, I'm packing that in. After two things today, might as well go home. Time to head to the bar. But not me. No. Then Cody's truck won't pick up fucking bins. And I say to myself, it's not over, Mike. Keep going. Then Ricky gets kicked off his fucking job, which we're trying to get done so we can have cash flow. And I'm like, no, I've not given up. I'll go fight with the other general contractor that fucked up the soil amounts. And then when I'm done that, I still won't give up. I will get with Darian in the pickup, and we will go get the other bin truck to find out the $3,000 turbo has exploded. Fuck yeah. And then I'll go home. And I'll wake up the next day and I'll fucking do it again. And that's why nobody cares work harder. No one cares about my fucking problems. You know what they care about? Pay your bills, work harder. And no ski trip to Heliski for a mastermind will fix those fucking problems in my business.
Not even one.
Maybe one. I would go bankrupt because I'm paying for the Heliskiing. And then I wouldn't have all those problems. I'd have a different set of problems. It'd be a whole different set. But you're telling me that neither of you guys have had that, like not that exact list, but that many problems happen to you in a day?
I don't think I've ever had that much go wrong. I've had a lot of shit go wrong in a day, but maybe not that much.
That was like stacking them hour by hour.
Yeah.
It's like, let's see how hard we can push this fucking motherfucker.
What are your options though? You could never in that day could you throw in the towel?
I guess someone could have. Like, when I worked at Ridge Lake, when shit was going really, really bad, the owner would just shut off his phone and go home.
Where's Ridge Lake now?
They have lots of work doing concrete. Apparently, if you need a lot of work, all you do is open a concrete company because no one does that shit.
Yeah, we've been begged to do concrete work. I'm like, I don't think you want us doing concrete. I could do concrete, but the 5 guys behind me can't.
They say concrete is the hardest trade because the concrete is on a time limit.
Yeah. When you're ripping stuff out because it's 5 mils wrong in some jobs, like that's a big fucking a big mess up. 5 mils isn't a lot.
No, it's nothing.
So
I wouldn't want to do it.
no.
I'd rather pick up pop cans in the ditch. It's hard work too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's another load of pain and suffering. Caleb's Corner brought right in there like that. You see that? Stuck it right in there.
Do you guys want a question to end the episode here?
Sure. Yeah. Can we get 15 minutes out of it, Mike?
I think so.
Ooh, must be a good question.
I did see though that we got our first 1-star review.
Oh no, who?
On Apple Podcasts. There's no written review, so we don't know what we did wrong.
Does anybody listen on Apple anyway?
Well, we've got 39 reviews there. I don't know how many we have on Spotify.
39? Yeah. On Spotify, we're killing it, I think.
Someone should
64 5-star reviews on Spotify. We're almost like Joe Rogan.
So we got our
Pretty
first
much.
1-star review. So we need help. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts and a written review, and we'll read it here on the podcast.
I like that. Housekeeping.
Yeah. And we've also we started to get actual questions written into us without any prompt, which is nice. So thank you to a handful of people that have written in questions without even us putting a story out there. It helps. But this question is from.
Thank you for all your help.
Yeah. Yes. Well, especially in the off season when none of us are actually in the field and have stories to share week to week. Romex.Steph asks, dealer demo days. PK, you're familiar with these from your time.
I am well versed. Well versed. I did many of these because of a minor discrepancy at the start of my career. What do you need to know about dealer days, baby? I know them.
These are typically not well attended. Everyone's busy. As a contractor, he never attended them. He says, I never attended them. What would get guys out to these things? Besides getting PK on the barbecue, making hamburgers with honey dip donuts for buns. Serious question though, if they started at 4 p.m., would you guys go to them more? Or maybe beer or a food truck? What are some ideas that we can give to help bring more traffic to dealer demo days?
I feel like I actually had decent attendance in my time, but I also was aggressively promoting where I would be and what I was doing. And I did, back then, like no one had ever thought of bringing. Everyone brought a dollar bottle of water. I brought energy drinks. I did one event, the very first one, and it was coffee and donuts. And first of all, it was boring, and my brain doesn't like that. And secondly, no one cared. No one cares. Don't buy donuts.
Yeah.
So I started bringing different things. I think that was part of it, was that I just changed what everyone else was doing. I don't think having it at 4:00 would work.
No, 4:00 definitely does not work.
The morning to me is so, like, we were just debating that the morning used to be the busiest time. Mike, you worked at a landscape supply yard. 7 a.m., 12 a.m., 12 p.m., or 12 p.m. at lunch. Is that when they're the busiest?
Yeah, we opened at 7:30, and I would stumble in there at 7:30, maybe 7:35, and there'd already be people waiting in the yard for me.
But was it busy around lunchtime too? Because guys would leave.
Yep.
People, like owners of the small landscaping businesses, would leave to go pick up materials where their guys were on lunch.
Yes, and we'd be eating our Little Caesars hot and ready, and sitting down, and then there'd be a whole rush.
So maybe lunch is the key.
Yeah, I would say so. But I'm sure most demo days are lunchtime anyways, no?
I don't know.
Maybe not breakfast, though.
I haven't gone to a demo day in a long time, I don't think.
Exactly his point,
Yeah.
right?
They had one
Like
at Arns
nobody's going to
today.
these things.
Well, they had one at Arns today. So do you think that part of that though is, at one time people were actually garnering a lot of information from demo days because the information wasn't as plentifully promoted by influencers on the internet?
Yeah, definitely could be.
Like, let's take, for example, the Ants trailer. At one time, if you said Ants trailers were coming to a demo day, you would probably get a lot of people coming because it is a very unique trailer that does a lot of unique things. But when you can watch 5 to 10 different influencers using the thing over and over and over again every day, nonstop, would you go for a demo day now? Because you've already formed an opinion on it. Either you love it or you hate it. Like, and if you love it, you're not going to go to demo day because you've probably already gone to look at them, and if you hate it, you're certainly not going to demo day.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's part of it too, is like there's so much, the information is so plentiful that maybe like what are you trying to I when I was doing it, I never once made it about seeing a new product, I don't think.
Hmm.
I made it about getting corn on the cob, or we had a big bonfire in an excavator bucket. We gave away like de-alcoholized beer. Like it's like we had a guy one time. We had the permacon trail, the con perm trailer there, and there was a guy. Oh well, the Son of Sand was there mixing Caesars in the morning, non-alcoholic Caesars. Like we made it. I made it about everything but the product because my goal at the time was to make permacon like a cool product, because if people thought it was a cool product, then they would want to buy it, and they would work the design into whatever they thought was going to make them successful, or make like it. I don't know. That was my theory on it. I feel like the events that I threw, a lot of them were well attended. I feel like when I was a rep, that the events were way better than they are now, because maybe there was a higher bar. I don't know. I also got roped into doing like 70 of those things because it was my own fault, because I misread the email. And I had already pre-booked them all. It's hard to get someone to go, because I feel like you're better to try to get someone to go to something for not the reason you want them to go there.
Bait and switch.
And then once they're there, yeah.
Get
Well,
them in the funnel.
Why do you think Costco sells hot dogs for $1.50?
You're not wrong.
Is it easier to get you to go specifically to a dealer, Chad, for a hardscape item, or would it be easier to get you to go there for free pizza?
I'm not
I don't
overly
mean
enticed by either one. Like,
okay, but let's just say it's not pizza. I'm just using
yeah.
I think that you are so immersed in the hardscape world that you are more likely to, like, let's say you could. Are you more likely to go to a hardscape supplier to learn about polysand, or are you more likely to go to a hardscape supplier that's offering heli skiing with a polysand talk on the way up to heli-ski?
Well, I guess you're going to go heli skiing.
Well, you just have to then really, whoever's asking that question needs to find out what heli-skiing is for landscapers.
See, our mentality behind the whole thing is, whenever they have those, contractor appreciation barbecue and all this shit, my crew's not going because the guys that have time to go to those fucking contractor appreciation barbecues aren't busy enough to be hardworking fucking landscapers.
Yeah, but
and that's the way my crew has always seen it. You can go get a hot dog if you're going there to pick up a pallet of brick or something, fine. But you're not going because we all want to go have lunch on a Tuesday or whatever, But that's just my company mentality. And the workers don't care anyway. You're right. They'll go for the free food, but the workers don't give a shit about a new 4x8 paver or whatever with a fancy flower design in the top of it or something,
One of my favorite things about this podcast is how we all have some item that annoys us, and we find some way to bring it up and talk about it. I don't know. What do you think, Mike? What would you go there for?
I went to one last year. I don't know if it was a dealer or demo day or whatever, but it was a porcelain company's event, and they did a really good job of it. They had really good food, and they had some speakers as well as an informational session if you wanted to go to it in the back or in their shop. I thought that they did a really good job of it, and there was lots of people there too.
But that's an event, not a demo day.
Okay, so a demo day is just a bunch of manufacturers showing up.
No, it's just one. It's one person showing up at the stone yard. Well, I don't know. I guess
that's. See, I would say that is kind of like a similar thing because they had their own yard.
Similar.
Yeah.
But how many times did you buy that porcelain tile?
Not yet, but
so,
but I do want to try porcelain. And it's
what kind of porcelain tile was it?
It was stone porcelain.
Porsche Stone. I'm using that on my 4,500 square feet.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
using Mirage right now on the deck.
Gotcha.
So is that the company you're going to go with, Mike?
Yeah, it will. Yep.
That'll be so they
But
sold
it's
you on
also
that because of the good
because
food.
no, it's also because that's what my Stoneyard stocks. And
What
my
kind of food
Stoneyard
was
is
it?
the people that actually invited me to the event. So it was more so like a little bit, maybe it was the exclusiveness of it, maybe because they did say that they only had a handful of tickets, right? So maybe that also like gets people to go to these events.
Limited to how many they can give out.
So maybe like the way I look at it is either doesn't Arntz do like every Thursday an event or something like that,
They
or in the
do. They
morning?
do wake up Wednesdays.
Okay. I feel like the consistency of something like that is a good thing to go off of. Where like every Wednesday would be tough to like keep up and bring a manufacturer every week. But if your contractors know that every week on Wednesday morning there's going to be breakfast and there's going to be a quick 15 half an hour talk or whatever and a quick demo before they get on with their day, I think that consistency would get a lot more people out there. But that's more so on the dealer side of things.
I think if you organize whatever you're doing, it needs to be quick, and you need to be able to do it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Like trying to say like I'm only going to have a demo at 9 a.m. You might not have a lot of people show up at 9 a.m., but people that were there at 7:15, if you can keep flipping that demo, then maybe that like you're basically trying to pull people that are already in the yard over to you.
Yeah.
Here's so I've been racking my brain trying to think of how this would work for my company. All these brickyards open at 8 o'clock, right? 8, 9 o'clock. In our city, at least. So there's nobody that opens at 7 o'clock.
That's
Open.
They all open
Oh,
at 7.
Yeah,
I
7:30.
I wish it's 8 o'clock here. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
I need them to open up at 6 o'clock, serve me a hot coffee and a breakfast, and I'll sit there and deal with your spiel for half an hour or whatever, then pick up what I need, and I can be gone at 7 o'clock.
It's like a timeshare meeting.
Yeah, like whatever it is, but do it
I'm
pre-work hours so that I can get going. But this dropping what you're doing to go to these things in the middle of a workday doesn't work for me.
I did a fuck ton of site visits.
Those will work too. If
Yeah.
I don't have to go.
I did a lot of site visits because everything. I did a lot of dealer stuff and I did a lot of site visits because everything else about that job really bored me a lot. Because the rest of it was like paperwork. I don't know if you guys remember, I used to have a flag and I got people to do all kinds of stuff with the flag and take a picture with the flag. And Troy Underhill, his guys jumped off a dock into a freezing lake with the flag in the spring.
Wow.
Yeah, the flag was fun.
Are you responsible for the Wolfpack idea?
Yeah.
That was you?
Does that not seem like it might have come from me?
That seems like you.
I like when I asked the con perm rep, what was it like to have PK working with you? He said there's a reason why we call it the PK era.
When did you ask that?
I was with you. That was at the event.
At the event.
I don't know if he called it the PK era, but it was something like
JC.
Yeah.
There was, I think they brought in some new rules. I think that was like we were talking about, like that was one of those times where my brain goes a million miles a minute, and I don't think they approved of every single idea that I was doing. And I think at some point they would have really disapproved of some of the ideas. We used to, but honestly, the best attended event, we had two really well attended. We had a show in Vaughan where it was so sold out that people were sitting up the stairs to see. We had really great speakers. And then we did the one that was like the rock star of all shows events was the poker night at LO Congress. That was like crazy, the amount of people that were there. And we had like a wolf pack cutout, so people were taking pictures with the wolf pack with their head through the I don't know. Anyways, it was fun. But that event had nothing to do with selling permacon.
Right.
I think
it should be a byproduct.
A byproduct, you hope, would be, but part of it is to create a good feeling around the brand.
Yeah.
But that's not a demo either. Like if you're talking about strictly demos, like that's unless you can make the demo exciting. When I used to do them with the shelf, it's when he was trying to hawk that glue. It sprays out of the can with the gun.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Seal technique. That
Yeah,
one.
Seal
Yeah.
Technique glue. Which I don't remember who I was talking to, and someone was talking about how they bought a case of it, and I'm like, people still buy that? Oh, it works good. Like it does work
If you
good.
clean the nozzle,
Yeah, I couldn't get past that. I clogged 2 guns and I stopped using it.
they always used to be like, "Oh yeah, it takes what?"
But didn't
it's
you
like
have the unclogger?
6 tubes of glue.
I had the unclogger.
I don't.
Yeah, you spray the unclogger through it, and then it
Yeah.
unclog. You got to do it after every use.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I
You
tried.
sure?
Maybe I did. I don't know.
Are you sure? Yeah. I'm dropping into rep.
The
Dropping into rep
yeah.
mode here. You tell me what you did, and I'll tell you what you did wrong and why it's your fault the gun didn't work.
But the last guy I talked to about it said, you don't even need to use the cleaner. Just keep the thing in the gun and just keep it like that, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, because it stays liquid then. Yeah.
Mm.
The cleaner was only supposed to be fed through it when you were taking the gun off a can to put a new.
Yeah.
I remember one time we were fucking around. We had this like display area where we used to do coffee and presentations for people. And one time we were fucking around with those cans of glue and one of them exploded for some reason and went
Holy.
everywhere. It went all over fucking the shelf. The shelf was fucking covered in it. His arm was his hairs were all glued to his arm and it was fucked, man.
Wow.
Yeah. That glue works though.
It is
Like
good glue.
if you have a wet surface, 2 wet surfaces, and you want to glue them together, they will never come apart.
Yeah.
You ain't popping the coping off to fix that shit. You are fucking destroying it to get it off. It works great. It's weird because in landscaping, which is the problem the guys are running into on the tiles. So the tiles are on I don't know if you guys have seen the videos of that whole rooftop with it's like a mesh that's over it. Well, the mesh is plastic, so it's imperfect.
Mm.
This is a total architect thing. Architect shows up everywhere, all over the place. It says tiles must be glued to the plastic webbing because there's no spacers in it, right? So they have to be glued to the plastic webbing. It says it everywhere. Architects like, yeah, don't glue that shit. I don't want it glued. I want full access to the roof. Okay. Well, when you don't glue it, they just rock to fuck because it's a perfectly formed piece of porcelain, which porcelain is in general, the tolerances for it are insane. They're so close and so perfect. It's not like buying a paver. And so now every little dimple on the plastic from coming out of the mold is like rocking the plastic because there's no glue. So today they spent the day grinding the plastic and gluing everything down.
Wow.
At least we didn't have to rip it up.
Yeah.
Like that was like a miracle. I thought it was coming up for sure.
Wow.
We didn't have to rip it up. So that's a positive.
Wow.
Anyways, it's 9:05, Mike.
Okay.
That's the end of the episode.